Hausas do not respect their leaders the way Yoruba does. Former Abacha ally General BOLARINWA. General BOLARINWA, a former ally of late former military dictator General Sani Abacha, has revealed some of what transpired during the military regimes of Sani Abacha and Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida. General BOLARINWA, who disclosed that 6 Yoruba elders were behind the annulment of the June 12, 1993 presidential election, which MKO Abiola won, also asked that Abacha did not die from eating a poisoned apple, contrary to what some people believed. He said the last person that met with Abacha before his death was announced was Lieutenant General Jeremiah Useni. He said 40 minutes after they met, Abacha died. Speaking about the annulment of the June 12 presidential election, he said General Ibrahim Babangida had the intention to hand over power to MKO Abiola, but 6 prominent Yoruba leaders went to him and stood against it and convinced him that the outcome will not be good if he hands power to him. He said some of those Yoruba leaders are dead, while some are still alive. He said even though Babangida and Abiola are friends, Babangida's action to annul June 12 and further detain MKO shows he does not have good intentions towards Abiola all the while. Okay, so comparing how Hausas respect their leaders to that of Yorubas, he said, no matter how difficult the situation may be, Hausas have a way of solving whatever issues that arise among them in a way that it will not cause them to disrespect their leaders. On the other hand, he said the Yorubas do not show respect for their leaders. He said, have you ever heard a northern youth abuse an emir or sultan? I've never heard it before, but in the Yoruba land, you hear some youths abusing our traditional rulers like the Oni of Ife, Alake of Egbaland, Awujale, and Obarilwan Akiolu. He said that the Yorubas need to sit down and tell themselves the truth. He alleged that the killers of MKO Abiola are Yorubas. He said that when the time is right, he will reveal those who killed Abiola. And that's it. I mean, to be honest, this, in my personal opinion, is a whole load of jargon. Obviously, this has obviously led to, looking into who Sani Abacha was. I mean, at the end of the day, people will have their opinions on what he is. But then if I go on Wikipedia, Sani Abacha, what they say, his rule saw the achievement of several economic feats, which is good, and also recorded human rights abuses and several political assassinations. He has been dubbed a kleptocrat and a dictator by several commentators, in which a lot of Nigerians would actually agree with. Now, let's clear the word kleptocrat. So, kleptocrat means a government whose corrupt leaders use political power to appropriate the wealth of their nation, typically by embezzling or misappropriating government funds at the expense of the wider population. Well, it's still very much rampant still today. So basically, if you are an ally of Sani Abacha, who was a dictator, then how do you expect your mentality to be? Because if you're an ally to him, we can safely assume that you do give a go ahead, or you sort of align with his rule and his government. And I think this just begs the question of, okay, fine, as Nigerians, like, let's be honest with ourselves, what kind of system of government do we want, or what kind of system of government do we respect? Because it seems as though people, when they talk about Abacha, they describe him as, he's a no-nonsense person, but is that really something that we need to appreciate? And then unnecessarily, he's out here making this a Yoruba and Hausa issue. The fact is, it's just a difference in cultures. Some people would describe the fact that the northern Nigeria and southern Nigeria are two different countries in one, with a different way of life, in which we can absolutely understand. However, I'm not trying to compare and say, okay, fine, Yorubas are better than Hausas, but you must observe that there is a certain level of docility that happens in the north that allows for their leaders to get away with a lot of things. That does not mean that in the south, leaders do not get away with a lot of things, but we are very much vocal in terms of calling out what is not. And we understand that, again, with their culture, fine, they don't speak up, which can they actually say that it's been to their greater good? Because at the end of the day, they go through so much. I mean, look at this. with the level of insecurity that goes on in the north, these people do not react, they do not protest, they do not listen. Respect is earned, okay? All this nonsense, whatever, you just deserve respect just because of your title. Excuse me, listen. If you do anyhow, you will see anyhow. There is no way you're gonna come here, you add nothing, you don't add any value to the lives of your subjects, as you might describe, and then you are coming to raise your shoulder and start demanding for respect. Are you joking? Well, just letting you know that the youth of now, we're not on that. Okay, we're not on that. This nonsense respect that is not earned, that you feel like you're entitled to, that all that is gonna stop. Okay, you cannot be in power embezzling funds and then you are demanding respect. My dear, we will drag you like small generator on Twitter. Don't try it. Don't even try it. Okay? And yes, one can describe issues like this as a clash between the older generation and the younger generation. But at the end of the day, no matter what, you have to force yourself to collect sense. That's just how it is. You have to force yourself to be neutral in certain situations, but also use tact and intelligence when you talk about certain issues. Again, listen, one can also still argue that, okay, fine, even though the Yorubas, or let's say the southern part of the country, for example, they're very much vocal in certain issues, but how much has their voice actually changed situations? You know, again, and one can argue that in certain ways, maybe the south is not as different from the north. However, listen, okay, we will not allow. Listen. I think in the south, we definitely endure. We endure with a certain level of enjoyment. That's what basically goes on. Literally, like, we can be going through a lot, but you still find that people are driving the latest cars, latest everything, and are still enjoying their lives in comparison to the northern part of the country. Again, listen, just look at Lagos, okay? Listen, Lagos is an active state. You must be doing 1 or 2, 3 jobs, side hustles, whatever, to make ends meet, and you will enjoy and spend your money there. However, you can can argue about how efficient that is anyway. But the fact just remains, listen, there is no way in hell. There is no way in hell we can have Boko Haram attacking just for 1 year. Don't try it. The youth will come out and they will defend themselves, okay? You can argue that, you know what, to be honest, we do allow certain things to be done by these leaders. However, don't listen. For the fact that you're an ally of Abacha, that already says it all. We don't even need to argue. We don't need to do anything else. Like, you are an ally of Abacha. And again, please listen. Collect sense. Listen. The youth of now, we are here to run things. That's it. We are here to run things. And if you think you're gonna be bringing all this, you know, unjustified sort of level of, okay, fine, you respect me because I'm listen, let's get it right, okay? The people put you in power, you are there to serve us. Period. Put what you think in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.